Well, good morning. It's Dave Nichols here at lil'o'farm. Today I'm gonna spend the entire day taking care of mulch and making compost. And I think the compost will help you in your gardens if you consider doing it. There's lots of ways to do compost. You can do compost even in small composters like this. You can see that I have some pretty much already made up. It's not fully broke down, but it's doing really well. I'll let you see down in here, get an idea what it looks like. But I've got compost being built. And all those, you look down in here and see this compost. You can compost anything. And this one here, you can see all the gnats. It's kind of nasty, I won't lie to you. You can see it there, it's kind of nasty, but you can compost anything, just about anything. I mean, plastics and things like that, of course, you can't, you can't compost those kind of things, but any kind of material, grass, cuttings, trimmings, eggshells, corn, I mean, even things that come out of your plate. I throw everything in here. I throw even meats if I've got chicken left over, or bones, chicken bones. It doesn't matter to me. I compost it because the truth is you and I could be composted, and I guess later in life, when we pass in this world, it will probably be composted. So you have to think of it that way. Everything goes back to the earth and back to the soil. And I've got some biochar there working on it. That's some nasty stuff, and I promise you it stinks. But I'll get into that in another video about biochar. But biochar has all, that charcoal has all those little grooves and crevices in there, and it takes on those fertilizers, and it captures it like a sponge and holds it. So another day I'll go over biochar, but today, the whole day, I'm going to spend the entire day moving mulch and starting to break it down for compost. Then I'm going to take some of my composting areas and aerate them and turn them over and show you how much they're composting in the middle. Here's some that the arborist, they just brought them out this last week, a few loads for me. So I'm gonna take all of that and move it, and you'll be watching me do that. So okay, just hang with me. See, folks, you can compost just about anything. I've got a lot of cardboard here that I'm going to compost. Just every kind of thing. I don't worry about dyes. I think by the time the composting has taken place, the dyes are pretty much not a problem anymore. But you can compost just about everything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on the ground, and I'm going to go pick up some soil that's already started activating. In other words, it's already started breaking down, and the microbes will already be there, and I'll pour them right on top of this, and then I'll start putting some fresh material on top of that. So just hang with me and we'll get it done. That's already started to break down, and see, the microbes will already be active and working in this product already. So by doing that, I'm just kind of jump starting it in the microbial side of it. Put some old pumpkins in there. I had a neighbor that hollered at me and said, "Hey, I've got a bunch of pumpkins I decorated with. You want them? Come and get them." And that's what I did. I went and got them, and I'm going to break them down. That'll give you a lot of nitrogen to help break down wood chips to compost. So it's just a process, and I enjoy it a lot. But anyway, just hang with me, and I'm going to keep showing you some more things. big operation. I'll probably have to label everything, but I'm not. I've just few things. I finally got some of these piles moved, been a lot of work. But I've got, this here is a brand new pile. And you can see they're just wood chips. And they've got a long ways to go. That'll take probably a good year before that's ready. So it takes a while. And I did mix with this pile. I mixed some old, you know, a mixture or old compost. I mixed it with it so it'll kind of jumpstart it and get it going quicker. And then you can start kind of looking around some of my different piles here. You'll see the stages of breakdown. And it's really happened, you know, I mean, a year is not that long, really, if you think about it. You can see this one here is not quite there. Got a lot of leaves in it, but it ought to start breaking down relatively quick. But it's still a new one. Does not have manure in it, so that's going to slow it down a little bit. This pile here would be probably, that pile there and this pile here would probably be the next stage of the composting and the breaking down. But you can see it's doing pretty well. There's some big stuff, you know, of course you can see the big stuff, but it's still not broke down at all, hardly. But you start getting in here and you start getting a lot of, it's a little bit more broke down. You know, it's getting closer and closer to a compost. And the same with this pile here, it's just not quite there yet. It's still got a long ways to go, but there's a lot of, you can see where I've mixed in some old stuff with it to kind of get it, you know, get it started, but it's just not quite ready. My next pile here is getting close. I mean, it's probably, I'd say 6 months, probably. And this pile here will be ready. I mean, it's starting to break down pretty well. You can just kind of look at it. I mean, you can see the differences if you start looking close. You can see the differences of the pile. There's a lot more fines in here as opposed to those others. And of course, here's the new pile here, this brand new. I mean, you can see the green still in it. A brand new pile of chips. And then, if you remember a while ago, when I showed you a video here just a while ago, I showed you I had a great big pile here, and it had pumpkins. If you remember, it had pumpkins in front of it. Well, I've moved it, I restaged it because it's getting so close to breaking down. I think this pile will be broke down in time for spring. I think it'll be ready to go because it's and of course I've turned it, you know, I've taken the, you know, kind of mixed it all back up again to where it'll start really, you know, really getting serious. But you can see how you know, got some stuff that still hasn't broke down yet, but I mean, it's getting there. I mean, it just doesn't, it's looking pretty good overall. I know that I could screen this right now and pull, you know, soil out of it. There's no doubt in my mind. But it's just still a little bit, you know, premature. But I really think on this one here, I think that, you know, right around spring, it ought to be really, really, really close to being ready. I'm hoping so because I'll probably need it. And then we'll go over here to a completed one. It can still break down some, but the truth is it's cooled off. And I've already been applying this to my garden. So this will give you an idea. So we went from wood chips to a partial breakdown to being almost ready to, you know, to use. So now this product here, this is what I use in my gardens now. You can see it's just, I mean, it's soil pretty much. There's still some big stuff in here, but I mean, it's very, very close. It can be used. If I screen it, I would have a fantastic product. But you can just kind of look at it and see that there's some soil here. You know, you can see the soil. There's some wood still could be broken down. But this here can go in your garden. This won't hurt your garden. It won't tie up your nitrogen or anything. It's the bigger stuff you could pull out that it could be tilled in or however you wanted to do it. There's still some stuff in here where I've, you know, drug around and picked up the wrong stuff, but yeah, you can just see it. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's changed, you know, from those wood chips all the way to this right here, you know. So I'm picking up grass. Anyway, you can see it's more of a soil if you can see it there. But anyway, I'm going to show you some more compost. I'm tired. It's been a long journey today. Maybe not for you, but for me, for me it was. I'll tell you the truth, it's really neat when you look at that pile right there It's over there by the garden. And you look at this pile, it's just amazing. This is composted. This is almost a year. This is around 10 months, 10 and a half months maybe. But you can see it's finally composted out. It went from that pile there of wood chips, which is amazing, and it brought it all the way down to this. And you know, this is just perfect to be put in the garden now. It would bring a whole lot of nutrition. Now remember, I did mix chicken litter with this, and that helped break it down quickly. And like I say, there's still some bigger stuff, but you know, in the garden it wouldn't matter, it's going to break down. But you know, look how nice that is. It's just beautiful. I'm very proud of it, to be honest with you. But like I said, I've always wanted to do this kind of work, and I've always wanted to do these kind of things, and I've gotten older and had a little time and made it a hobby to do it. It's just a hobby. There's still some sticks in there, but it's really a good product. It does a really good job of building that soil. You know, that's one of the things I think is really important, is building the soil. A lot of people online are talking about how this is not the best way, and you know, I don't care if you till, if you don't till, it doesn't matter to me. If you're successful in your garden, who's to say anything different, you know? But my way of thinking is to build the soil. I just really think that, you know, we have depleted our soil. Let me put it this way. When I have a hard time sleeping at night, and when I take melatonin, my body gets used to that melatonin, and when I quit taking it, I don't sleep well. So I think the earth is the same way. If you feed it all the time with fertilizers, it gets to where it needs that, and those plants they need that fertilizer. And you don't have all the mycorrhizal and all the other fungals and things like that, that, you know, that the symbiotic, I don't even know what the right word is, they work together as a team. And you know, you don't have that. So I think plants are the same way. I think they become dependent on it. I think the earth becomes dependent on it, and that's why we put down so much fertilizer. I think we've had bad practices. But I'm not saying fertilizer is a bad thing. I use organic fertilizer. I use synthetic fertilizer. They're all the same. It's the same stuff as like what we breathe, you know, CO2, oxygen. You know, it's all the same stuff. But when you take it from something like this, you're taking it from the earth. Because when you look at this wood, whatever it took up into itself and pulled out of the earth, it's in this wood. So whatever minerals or micronutrients or anything that tree pulled up is in that wood. And so when you put it back into the earth and it decays it down like it did on that compost, then you know, you're adding it back to the soil. And you can look right here, you can just look at this soil right here. My tractor, I've been working with it about a year or so in this location, and look at that, look how it's breaking down. You know, it's taking that soil and changing that soil profile just right here where I dump all my material. So you know, it changes the earth. It changes the ground. My ground went from red to a real dark. And later on, I'm going to try to show you some places in my garden. I'm going to pull back the soil and let you look at it. I just haven't had a chance to do that. But I'm a big advocate of it. I think you have to know how to use it. I think any garden takes this right here. You take that and put it in any garden. If you use fertilizer, if you don't use fertilizer, but you mix that into your soil and you're going to build that soil. If you till, it doesn't matter. If you mix that into your soil, it's going to enrich your soil. It's going to give you a whole lot more carbon base. It's going to make you a loam and make that earth good. So, you know, that's one of the things that I think that's happened. If you look at my property, as pretty as it is, I've done bad things to this property. I've hurt the lawn. I've been all over this with all kinds of equipment, lawnmowers and things like that, and I've packed that earth. It's hard to rock unhealthy places. And Arkansas is a very rich land, but you know, the things we do, the practices we do, we really hurt the land. And you know, we're starting to see it more because we're seeing a lot of places that are getting drier, and becoming more sandy, and it's because we're just bad practices. But you know, I'm not going to blame everything on mankind. I'm not going to go negative like that, because I want to be positive. I know that will help your garden. So anytime you can get some nutrition put in that soil, you're doing a good thing. If you add fertilizer, that's fine. You know, fertilizers can bite you. I know in the nursery world, when you start putting lots of fertilizer on shrubs or anything like that, you start making their immune system go down, because they're growing so fast. They're putting on new growth, and then you have all the pests that come and start trying to get onto that new growth and get all the nutrition from that new growth, and it puts them a burden on the plant. But if it's in a perfect condition, where it's in a hoop house or somewhere where it's perfect condition and taken care of, then it doesn't matter. But when you take it out of that environment and you put it in the real environment, then they go through a tremendous shock. So I don't know, it's just the way you look at things and how you want to do it. I try not to push things so hard. You know, in my gardens in the summertime, I push them because I know I've only got a window of time to get them grown up, to get them big enough to eat. So I push them, and sometimes I'll add fertilizer to push them a little harder, but I don't go crazy with fertilizer. Never have. I never have. I just don't think the need. I think, to me, the answer is right here. And I don't know, that's how I feel, you know. But I'm not on you. If you use it, fine. If you don't, fine. It doesn't matter. But I just want people to be practical in the way they think. And, you know, just because this guy does it and that guy doesn't, it doesn't mean they're both wrong or they're both right. It's just a matter of thinking, you know. So, folks, I've enjoyed today. I hope I haven't bored you too much. I'm hoping I can get this narrowed down to a good time and not be a long video. So I've enjoyed you. I'm glad you hung out with me today. God bless you, and we'll check with you next time. Bye-bye. Say hi to Bird, everybody. Say hi. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Oh my goodness. Say hello.